Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to talk about the digital version of you, the one that's created, curated, and reflected back at you by algorithms every single day. Let's dig into how this algorithmic reflection is shaping our lives online.
You know that feeling, right? You're talking about something just in passing and then boom, an ad for that exact thing shows up in your feed. It's so spot on, you kind of have to wonder, is my phone listening to me? And while that's probably not what's happening, the reality is, honestly, even weirder.
See, what you're bumping up against is what we're calling your algorithmic reflection. It's like this digital mirror that platforms build just for you to show you a version of the world and of yourself that it thinks you want to see. And this curated reality, well, it becomes a huge part of your online identity. But here's the thing that's so easy to miss. This reflection isn't just built from the things you consciously choose to do, like what you post or what you like. No, it's way deeper than that. This whole reflection is being shaped by this huge invisible system that's constantly making calls about who you are and what you should see next. So, how does this whole mirror thing actually work? What's the code behind this online version of you? Let's get into the mechanics of it. Okay, so at the heart of all this is the algorithm. And the easiest way to think about it is like a recipe, right? It takes thousands of little data points about you as the ingredients, and then it follows a set of instructions to cook up a prediction, a guess about what you like, what you believe, and what you're probably going to do next. And this is where we see this huge disconnect, this gap between what these platforms say they're doing and what their real business model is. Publicly, the goal is, hey, we want to give you the perfect personalized experience. But if you look at their internal research, the real goal is to maximize just one thing, your attention. So to get that attention, the algorithm is just constantly eating up your data. And we're not just talking about your age and where you live. It's tracking the websites you visit, who you're friends with, and even how long your thumb pauses on a single post before you keep scrolling. Every single action is another signal. But, this digital mirror, it is far from perfect. If you look really close, you start to see these deep systemic cracks in the code. And that's what we call algorithmic bias. Now, this isn't usually some evil programmer cackling behind a keyboard. That's not how it works. Instead, the bias actually comes from the data itself. When you train these algorithms on data that already reflects our own historical and societal inequalities, well, they just learn to copy and sometimes even amplify those same biases. Let's look at a concrete example. There was this huge study from MIT, right? They found that some of the big commercial facial recognition systems were almost perfect when it came to identifying white men. We're talking 99% accuracy. But, and this is the kicker, when that exact same software was tested on dark-skinned women, the error rate just skyrockets, up to a staggering 34%. And why? It's pretty simple. The data they trained it on was mostly white and male. The result? A system that's just fundamentally broken for a huge group of people. And this isn't just about photos, not by a long shot. An investigation by ProPublica dug into an algorithm used in courtrooms all over the US to predict if someone might commit a future crime. What they found was that it was nearly twice as likely to falsely flag black defendants as future criminals than white defendants. Okay, so beyond the bias problem, there's another issue. This relentless, non-stop drive for engagement, it creates its own set of really serious harms. The very design that's supposed to keep us scrolling can have a huge human cost. This right here, this is from a leaked internal memo from Facebook, and it just lays the problem bare. Their own researchers knew that the stuff that gets the most engagement is often the most divisive, the most emotional, the most extreme stuff. The algorithm learned a simple lesson. Outrage keeps our eyes glued to the screen. And this has real, undeniable consequences, especially for young people. I mean, over the last decade, as social media has just exploded, researchers have seen this sharp, troubling rise in mental health concerns among teens. Things like anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. I mean, the scale of this algorithmic amplification, it's just hard to wrap your head around. One study found that content related to eating disorders on TikTok alone has been viewed over 13 billion times. It's like algorithms can create these rabbit holes, just pushing users deeper and deeper into more extreme and harmful stuff.
And here's the most important part to understand. The system is working exactly the way it was designed to. These platforms have a direct financial reason to get us hooked, to turn our attention into their product. Every feature is fine-tuned to keep you looking, clicking, and of course, buying. So, what do we do, right? When we're faced with this mirror that can be biased and distorted and even harmful, how do we even begin to build a better one? Well, the solution is really about moving from just being aware of the problem to actually taking action. And look, the path forward isn't just one magic fix. It's really a two-pronged attack. We need those big systemic policy changes to hold companies accountable, and we need tools that give us, as individuals, the power to take back some control. Okay, so on the policy side, one of the best ideas out there is requiring something called algorithm risk audits. It sounds complicated, but the framework is super simple and powerful. First, you identify a specific harm. Then, you get an independent party to measure it. And finally, the platform has to publicly report on it and actually work to reduce it. It's all about transparency and accountability. And then on the individual level, you have people who are already building solutions. This quote is just fantastic. It's from the creator of a free browser extension called Escape the Algorithm. And all it does is hide those addictive, algorithm-driven feeds, making you consciously click a button if you really want to dive in. It's just about adding a little bit of friction, a moment of real choice. So, at the end of the day, here's where we are. Our digital reflection is not set in stone. It's powerful, it absolutely shapes our reality, and it's being coded and recoded every single second. So the real question for you, for all of us, isn't whether we have a digital mirror. It's what kind of mirror are we going to demand? One that distorts and exploits us, or one that reflects a truer, healthier version of ourselves and our world? What will you demand it reflect?